It is the 40-week all-time Survivor season rankings.
Starting on January 7th, 2021 and concluding 251 days later on September 25th, 2021, Rob Has a Podcast created the most highly anticipated Survivor season rankings list of all time.
We polled 2,400 listeners of Rob Has a Podcast, and they got the most thorough rankings ever conducted.
And I think they got some of the rankings wrong, but we are getting ahead of ourselves and really need to take a step back. The all-time top 40 rankings list has a ton of glaring issues from a first glance, whether it be nostalgia, madness, or maybe even loneliness. The fans of Rob Has a Podcast overhyped a lot of seasons. Today we're going to be diving deep into the world of Survivor and figure out what are the most overrated Survivor seasons of all time. Once Upon an Island is joining us today to help break down what the most overrated Survivor seasons of all time include. Before we get started, every week during Survivor 42, I'll be giving away Survivor buffs for free. Yes, that's right, free. If you like free things or you're a Survivor superfan, you should 100% subscribe to the channel right now. And if you haven't already, make sure to check out the man, the myth, the legend, Once Upon an Island.
Thanks for having me on your channel. I am Once Upon an Island, and you can see videos and podcasts about Survivor, so come on over and check it out.
Number 5, Survivor Winners at War. This season is one of, if not the hardest season in Survivor history to rank. Look, we really need to give credit where it's due. First, as this is the 40th celebration season of Survivor, bringing in 20 previous winners to battle it out, we saw the return of fan favorite players like Tyson, Sandra, Tony, Rob, and even got to see players that we never thought we would see again, like Yul, Amber, and Ethan. But once you calm down and take off the superfan goggles, there's a lot of glaring problems with Winners at War. The boot list is hard to get through and hits an all-time low, seeing Sandra and Parvati go in the same episode. The inclusion of the Edge of Extinction makes sense with such a stellar cast, but was a hard pill to swallow with taking up so much screen time. Multiple episodes were near impossible to follow with how fast the target was changing. And although the loved one's visit was fun to watch, I don't think it needed to be half an episode.
You know, sometimes, even in a war like this, it's important to take a moment, lay down your weapons, and remind yourself what and who you are playing for.
This season was voted in higher than the likes of Cambodia, Tocantins, Philippines, and even the beloved Cook Islands, possibly due to recency bias or loving the idea of the season over the execution of it. But without a doubt, Survivor Winners at War is overrated.
Only one will remain and will leave the island with $1 million in cash as their reward.
Number 4, Palau. To be fair, I like Palau. The collapse of Oolong is great TV the first time. But is this season better than Vanuatu, Gabon, Cook Islands, and Samoa? No way. There are ideas here that would go on to be series staples, like the fire-making tiebreaker and Exile Island. This is the only season without a merge. The winner is a challenge beast, and while Palau can be seen as awesome on a first-time watch, what drags it down is the rewatchability. When you know Oolong is a goner who will never win immunity, the pre-merge becomes a slog on that rewatch. Once you see Wanda go in episode 1, you are best served by skipping to episode 12, right after Stephanie gets voted out, to see interesting gameplay and Karor finally go at it. But now we are saying only the last 3 episodes have good rewatchability. That's not saying much. Vanuatu, on the other hand, is great from that tribe swap / earthquake in episode 5 and beyond, while Gabon is a hot mess from the beginning. How is Palau better? Short answer, it isn't. It's overrated.
Number 3, Survivor Amazon. An oldie, and most people in the community considered it a goodie, coming off the heels of Survivor Thailand that was rightfully placed at the number 38th best season of all time. The Amazon looked to shake things up. Survivor was in dire need of a boost in popularity, and to have a winning season that the fans enjoyed. I think that's actually really good on the producers for having the self-awareness to understand they needed to add something to spice up this season, but I also don't really think they knew what they were looking for either. When in doubt, just create more drama, and that's exactly what they went for with this younger cast, and more importantly, for the first time ever, Survivor had implemented a starting twist of separating the men and women at the start of the season.
These 16 Americans are about to begin the adventure of a lifetime. They will depart from this village as a group of men and a group of women.
A lot of the magic that comes with viewing the older seasons of Survivor is with some nostalgia in mind, remembering the good old days. I personally don't have the nostalgia bias blinding my judgment of this season, as my first full Survivor experience was with Cook Islands. The main thing going for the season is Rob C. He knows how to play things up for the camera perfectly for fun TV moments, and at the same time make strong strategic moves. However, it's also the inclusion of Rob C that made the season come in at the 8th spot overall, and that's just way too high. The winner is so meh, and I really think Jenna's win leaves a sour taste in the mouth that could have been avoided if someone else came up on top. But more importantly, the men versus women dynamic just creates too many moments that don't age well in 2022.
Since day one, Heidi has always been my favorite, but she looks like she could really use the conditioner and maybe some of that soap.
For placing Survivor Amazon on this list, I've probably started a battle with Rob as a podcast, but if you're unaware, I'm already in an all-out war with Russell Hantz. There's just not enough space for two Russells in the Survivor YouTube community, which is why I need to pass him in subscribers to prove my dominance. Next season.
Number 2, San Juan del Sur. Okay, kill me now, this is an unpopular opinion, but I will stand on this hill. Keep in mind, this is 100% personal preference, but every season of Survivor I watch, I'm able to get through from beginning to end on the first try. Even Thailand and Redemption Island. But San Juan del Sur, it took me 3 times before I could finally finish the season. While the endgame is interesting, like Palau, before the endgame is so dull to me due to the characters. Keith and Natalie are the only saving graces, while everyone else could have just not been cast for the season, and I would have been fine with that. It's a real shame because Wentworth and Jeremy are great on Cambodia, but here they're okay at best. I see San Juan del Sur placed on a pedestal for being so good, but I would rather watch Gabon, Vanuatu, Cook Islands, Samoa, Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers, Edge of Extinction, and even Palau before watching San Juan del Sur again. Yet all those seasons are ranked behind. No way. San Juan del Sur is below average, not above.
Number 1, Survivor Borneo. The season that started all, the cultural phenomenon that paved the way for every season to come. Much like Winners at War, the first season of Survivor is pretty much impossible to rank. For clarification, the voters placed this as the 13th best season of all time, but you can't seriously say with a straight face that Borneo is better than the likes of Blood vs. Water, Exile Island, Cook Islands, All-Stars, Samoa, South Pacific, Game Changers, and the Edge of Extinction. It was a complete disappointment that the Edge of Extinction was ranked 36 out of 40, but that's a topic for another day. Back to Borneo, this season set the foundation of what Survivor was meant to become, but in today's world just feels lackluster. The major problem with Borneo is that it has suffered from the excitement and constant go 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 that is seen in modern day Survivor. You see, Borneo was obviously not designed to contain the same level of strategy of, for say, Survivor Cagayan. In fact, the beginning sequence in early episodes made it feel as if strategy was on the back burner or was even non-existent for the players. The problem I see is that there was an emphasis of surviving the elements, however there was no urgency or goal of surviving each other. If a good Survivor season for you is one with crazy idle plays, voting blocks, or blindsides, then this is not the season for you. I'm personally not a fan of this season, and I find it really difficult to sit through and watch. But at the same time, we need to respect our elders, as without this season, we wouldn't be here more than 40 seasons later. Click right here for the entire history of the hidden immunity idol.